Hello, hello, hello. So I am hopping on. I know it's 15 days late. um, yeah, don't look at that. I had a really bad car accident at the beginning of the year for those who don't know. Well, I guess you guys wouldn't know because this is all brand new and it's a brand new channel. So hi, my name is Melissa. My grandbabies call me Mimi, and so do a lot of other people now. So, um, I recently started a new journey and I started an elimination diet where I pretty much eat only animal products. Well, I only eat animal products. And I read labels and make sure there's no yucky stuff that if I can't pronounce it, I don't need to eat it. And I don't do sugar, obviously. It's not an animal product. I do use a few things on occasion that have sweeteners in it, but I do try to kind of keep that limited as well. So as you can see, since my accident, I've got a lot of things going on and I'm getting ready to get that taken care of. But it's kind of part of this new thing that I'm going through. So carnivore, or what I like to just say an elimination diet. I've chosen to eliminate some things from my diet. One of the things that got me interested was hearing someone talk about their improved oral health. Um, I have needed dentures for a little over a year now. I've been working with a dentist to try and come up with a financial plan that would allow me to do that. So that was one of the draws to this, but it wasn't the only draw. I saw a lot of people that had issues similar to mine, and this was helping them to get healthier. So, one of the things, well, let's just start back a little ways. So, I have been, I don't want to say this because I don't like to claim something, but years ago, I went through a lot of treatment after losing 252 pounds, having duodenal switch, which is the strongest version of weight loss surgery. Now, I had that surgery in 2010. At my lowest weight, I had lost 252 pounds. I started out, my highest weight was 420. So my lowest weight was, I used to bounce around between 160 and 163. I am 5'9", so people never believed I was as heavy as I was, but trust me, I was. Um, so I started becoming very fearful of gaining back weight, and so I adopted some not so good habits of kind of binging on things I knew I didn't need to have post surgery in my diet, and then purging. Um, I started out with just trying a few things and seeing like if I could eat them and not gain weight. But then I just became very fearful because I noticed that I was incorporating more bad things into my diet than good things. Now, I apologize. I'm not an expert at doing these videos, so bear with me if I jump around a little. I didn't write a script. I'm not going to edit. I'm just going to freely have a conversation. Um, so I went through eating disorder treatment for on and off for a couple years, learning that probably my whole life I've had disordered eating as well as body dysmorphia and a lot of other things going on. Anxiety was horrible. It seemed like the more I lost weight, the more I noticed and started having troubles dealing with anxiety. And to be honest, I had depression on and off probably my whole life that I can really recall. I can remember times where, I just really like to isolate and kind of keep to myself. And I think I was just depressed as a child, probably. We've all had our traumas, and I've had plenty. But I got to a good weight because, they say with weight loss surgery, you're going to go bounce down to your lowest weight, and then you'll eventually bump up about 15, 20 pounds. Your body will just eventually bounce up to what it's comfortable at. Like, you get so excited about losing weight and you just push and push and push. And it's like, just another 5 pounds, just another 5 pounds. And then finally your body goes, no, this don't feel good. Let's go back just this little bit. And I did. I bounced up a little bit with going through nutrition therapy and getting myself back on track. But, and then I stayed level for such a long time. And then I had to have a hysterectomy. I mean, they left my ovaries, but I had to go through a hysterectomy. And after that, it just seemed like 20 pounds, 20 pounds, 10 pounds. Like, I kept struggling and back to the yo-yo dieting, trying to get the weight off. And because my treatment I went through encouraged me to kind of backpedal some of what I was doing post weight loss to be more normal and balanced in my eating and to not restrict foods. I felt like I was back to square one, where I was constantly obsessed with what am I going to eat? What should I eat? Kind of back to where I was before surgery. So, circling around, skipping a bunch of stuff because I can't give you every detail. Here we are. And so January 28th of 24, I had a life-changing accident. My mom and I were headed to see family, and we were T-boned coming out of our subdivision. There's a blind hill and signage that lets you know, hey, you've got to slow down, and this is blind here. But someone came flying over that hill and they T-boned me. And they knocked us into a field. Like, they really hit us hard. My mom had 5 fractured ribs and a lot of serious bruising. I took a huge brunt of the injuries, being that I was the side hit. I was the driver. I had 7 broken ribs on my left side, a fractured wrist, a fractured elbow on the right, and my left knee, my tibia plateau was broke. So I spent just about 4 months I went to the hospital the 28th. I got out April 19th from the care facility where they sent me for rehabilitation. And I went through 2 different locations for that because the first one wasn't taking care of things, and I ended up with an infection and having to have a second surgery on my leg. So I had 22 stitches on the back of my leg. So it has been difficult trying to recover for most of the time I was in the hospital. I could not be weight bearing on my leg or my arm. So it's really hard to even do physical therapy. or really do a lot when you have two sides of your body and you can't be weight bearing on, your leg or your arm. And that's my predominant arm. So it was very much a challenge, but we were very blessed because we are still here and it could have been so much worse. So back to now, it has been over a year and I have still been having a lot of issues with both knees and my elbow and my joints in general. I already had some very minor arthritis in my knees, but nothing that really put me out of commission. And post surgery, I just have so much trauma at this point, and it's actually really affecting my right leg too, from kind of taking on more to kind of support the other side. Anyways, I was watching a YouTuber that I adore and saw that her and her husband were going to do a 30-day carnivore challenge. And I started digging in and watching video after video and doctors and people who have been doing it for 10 plus years and just doing a lot of research. And this was the end of March, and I looked at my mom and I said, when I do my grocery shopping next week, I'm going to change how I shop because I'm going to do this elimination diet and I'm going to switch to eating only animal products. And of course, I'm going to have, my butter. But I just think it's important that I try this for at least 30 days. To my surprise, she asked a few questions, but then she said, I think we should do that. And sure enough, that following Wednesday was our grocery shopping time, and I was very well prepared for where I was going to get what. And we started our journey together. Now, I live with my mom, and I did before the accident. It's just easier to be together. And I was very excited. She is about to turn 75, and I turned 55 in March. And we both have some health things that I knew this could be beneficial for. So let's jump ahead a little. I had a fall right before I decided to do this. So I had been weighed when I went to the doctors for that. So I kind of knew my starting weight. My mom knew her last weight from her recent visit. So we didn't weigh and measure as we were starting. And I looked at her and I told her in the beginning, we need to document all of this. We need to do videos. We need to really share all of this. And then my confidence got me. And it just seemed like every day I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Well, we did end up getting a scale ordered because we didn't have one at home. So we did start weighing. We had been on for a week, basically a week, and we started doing our weights. So we are day 15 today, and I weighed in yesterday and Mom weighed in today. So I have so far lost 11 pounds and Mom has lost 7.5-ish. And we both are noticing things physically. We're so excited with how we're feeling. We're both sleeping better through the night. My joints, while I still have pain when I do certain things, I'm not having consistent pain nonstop. So that is exciting. I'm not taking afternoon naps. Mom, once in a while, will take a quick little cat nap if she's been out doing stuff, or if she's gotten up early. But for the most part, we are not taking naps, and we used to take naps every day. My mom used to come home when she would go to the senior center. She goes 3 days a week. She would go and have lunch there with her friends and come home, and she would just be absolutely exhausted. Now, as for me, I would sleep, and even if I slept solid all night, I would wake up and I would still be exhausted, absolutely exhausted. So now, and that's unusual because before I used to be a real morning person. I would get up at 4 in the morning, and when my eyes woke up on, and I mean, I didn't need an alarm, nothing. It was just like, poop, time to get up. And I mean, I was just ready to go, full of energy. I was annoying to people. People didn't like the morning person, but I was very much a morning person. And when I say when I woke up, I was good to go, I was good to go. But that has changed so much. And I really got to where I just all the time was foggy and exhausted and had no energy, didn't want to do anything. Now, some of that's depression. I mean, I really went through a huge trauma. I went through therapy, physical therapy. Um, it's been a journey. But I think the biggest portion was just my body was not getting what it needed. I was eating things I knew weren't making me feel good, and I knew I had to make a change. But I mean, I would eat, and an hour later, I would be so starving. And in between that time, my mind was just like, what are you going to eat next? What are you going to eat next? What are you going to eat next? Like, it's such a horrible way to live. So, since we've been doing carnivore, so much of that has changed. So, for example, in the morning, we'll have eggs and bacon, or I'm not a big on the sausage patties, so some days she'll have that. Like this morning, I just grabbed a hamburger patty from the freezer, and I had 3 eggs, and I mean, it was the best breakfast ever. So we eat bacon and eggs, or just eggs, or an omelet. And then for me, I have gotten on a routine where, and look, let me tell you, I'm a coffee girl I love my coffee. I could never imagine drinking coffee without my flavored creamers. And I had gotten to where I used to do the 0-calorie ones, but there's just no flavor in it. They just don't taste that good. So I had gotten to where I was just doing regular creamers. Like, I just built up to where I was like, I'm just going to do my regular creamers. And when I say I put some creamer in, I put some creamer in. Now I am doing my morning coffee with just heavy cream, which is good because I need the high fat. So I have 1 coffee in the morning, not 2, 1. And then I have breakfast. And then about 1:30 or 2, I have an iced coffee. Now in that one, I allow myself to have 2 pumps of the sugar-free flavored syrup that I already had in the kitchen. I'm trying to use that up. Now I do have a different flavor coming, and I do want to keep it in the house because occasionally I want that. But I have gotten to where I'm quite comfortable drinking my coffee with just heavy cream, nothing sweetener for it. And I mean, like today, I had around 12:15 a slice of corned beef, lunch meat and a slice of Monterey Jack cheese. And then an hour later, I went ahead and made my high-fat coffee, and I'll have that. And then for dinner, I have bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs in the crock pot cooking with salt and pepper on them. So that's what we will have for dinner. Last night we had leftover pork loin roast that I had cooked in the crock pot with a seasoning I got at our little market that's run by our Amish community close by. And it doesn't have any sugar. It's just like a general seasoning. You can put it on potatoes. You can put it on anything. And it's super yummy. So that's what I put on our pork. And we did have that 2 nights. But man, when we're ready to eat, we eat. So what has changed that I like the most is that I don't have to weigh anything. I don't have to count calories. That is so overwhelming to me. Like that I know it may seem simple to some people, but for me, it's just so overwhelming. Macros and calories and this and that. I know what I can have. I can have animal products. I can have stuff that, I watch to make sure stuff doesn't have sugar in it. And I serve myself a plate and I eat until I'm comfortably stuffed. And basically, like, I eat until it just doesn't taste good anymore. And then I go, oh, that's my natural signal to stop. And it's like intuitive eating, which is something I could never master before. And I will say that when I started out, I couldn't get, I just couldn't eat as much at one sitting. So I was eating about 4 times a day. And now I'm able to eat enough more at a meal to where I really only eat twice a day. I might have a small snack like I did today, and then I have my coffee. And I am completely satisfied. I don't sit there and think about, oh, what can I eat? What should I eat? What do I want to eat? I kind of know what's in the freezer, and I was just walk in there, and I don't stand there and look to see, oh, what am I going to eat? Oh, I don't really want this. I just go, I pick something, like if we've had hamburgers the day before or, something, then I just grab a different kind of meat and that's what we have. So tonight we're having chicken. Tomorrow we'll probably have some sort of beef, and we switch it up. And I have not gotten bored yet, and I need to have my eggs. Eggs have become like a side dish. I don't eat them with every meal, but I eat eggs every day, and if I could eat them with every meal, I probably would. So I just wanted to hop on and introduce myself. I think it's time that I share my journey, and that you just never know who needs to hear what you have to say. Now, I'm not some great big influencer. I have done a lot of makeup content over the years just because I went to school to be an esthetician, but the accident happened the day before I was supposed to take my licensing exam. So I haven't been able to do that, but I will be doing that. But I've always been a skincare and beauty junkie. So I'm not a stranger to doing like Facebook Lives and little small TikTok-y stuff. But as far as like a video like this is concerned, I'm just your average everyday person who has had sucky health and is tired of doing what the standard diet tells you to do, the American Standard Diet, and yo-yoing and being miserable and never getting anywhere and never getting any healthier, and feeling like I'm on a never-ending hamster wheel. And even after having the most extensive surgery out there, here I am, even though I only gained back about 100 pounds, which is, still not even half of what I lost. It's 100 pounds I didn't want back. So I'm hoping to lose 80 of that. I plan to lose 80 of that. That's my goal. I don't have a specific time frame in mind because I just don't think that's necessary. And the only thing I'm doing as far as any additional supplements or vitamins is I did buy these because they came highly recommended, and it was recommended to do to eat organs, and I don't like any of that. I don't like any of that. It may be very good for you, but I don't like any of that. So I got these supplements, and they're just a little capsule, and this is an alternative to eating guts. So I'm really hoping it's going to help with a lot of things because I'm 55 and things get harder once you get older, and I do feel like what people are saying about organs is very true. I just can't, I can't eat them. So I'm going to take them in this supplement. So I found these on Amazon because I did the subscription and there was a coupon. I got a really good deal. I'm only going to do one a day, even though it suggests 2, because budget. I am not currently able to work due to all of my injuries that are still, I still have problems with my knee giving out and different things. So I am still supposed to have some additional surgery, but I'm really hoping getting the weight off will prevent that. So this first. Anyways, I would like to share more with my mom as she becomes more comfortable. So you may see us do some stuff together. I will ask, if you don't mind, give my little video a like and subscribe if you're interested in seeing carnivore through just a basic Mimi's journey, and see if maybe this is something that could work for you, or if you're doing it already and you just want to show a girl a little love. And I hope you would share if you know someone who might benefit. I know there are a lot of us that have done the weight loss surgery and then have found that the weight has come back, and now, we're trying to see how we can get back to getting off the carbs. I'm a food addict and definitely a carb addict. And so this is the time for me to say, I can't even do moderation. Like, there is no moderation for me. So maybe you know somebody who is maybe like me and could benefit from this. So please share me out. I'm going to try and jump on once a week. I may do more because I'm learning to cook some stuff, and I may want to share some of that. But mostly you're just going to get a heartfelt kind of, this is how it's going for me this week. Here's what happened. Here's what didn't happen. Here's where I made a mistake. Here's where I got back to it. And yeah, just anything, that I come along and that me and my mom find together that we think we want to share. God has been so good to us, and he's forever faithful, and I'm just so grateful to be on this journey and already seeing results. My gums aren't bleeding as much. I am not having pain. So I definitely know there is some oral health benefit going on. There's just so many things um, that I could say. Less pain. I can tell I've got less inflammation in my legs, which is where I carry a lot of my weight, and I'll explain more about that next time. But yeah, let me hop off here and hope you all have an amazing rest of the week and Easter weekend. And I'm grateful that you stopped by, and if you stuck around to hear what I had to share. And yeah, we'll see you again soon. Bye.